City. I'm a lifelong resident of Jersey City. I live in Jersey City by choice, so I think I could relate to all groups that are assembled here tonight. What a mess we are in. What a mess. And you know, I consider myself a good student. And in November of 2011, I attended the first of the board-sponsored sessions on the superintendent search. And at that session, you started by bringing to us Dr. Walter Farrell from the University of North Carolina, who exposed to us the corporate foundation takeover of urban school districts in the entire country. And at that meeting, I introduced myself to Dr. Farrell, and I have to tell you, from then to now, I've been in communication with Dr. Farrell. And if Dr. Farrell was had a crystal ball, or was one of those guys on the boardwalk who guesses your age and your weight, he could have written this scenario 6 months ago. Okay, here we are. And first of all, let's say that the Broad Foundation, the Broad Training Academy, is not certified by any state or national organization that certifies educators or people to be educators. I lived through the 1988 period of time when the state came in and took over our district. I was an assistant superintendent at that time. I did lose my job when the state took over. And there was no sour grapes on my part, because I believed that for the children of Jersey City, for the public school children of Jersey City, the state was going to come in and do what had to be done to give our students a quality education. I want to point out to you, too, that that legislation was a 5-year process. The state goes into a district, makes all the corrections in 4 years, and in the 5th year they transition it back to local control. Well, 5 years became 6 years, and 6 years became 10 years, and 10 years became 15 years, and 15 years became 20 years, and we went on beyond that. And in that period of time, one of the commissioners of education was William LaBrera. William LaBrera, who we turned around and hired as our search person, our expert, our consultant to search for us. He had the opportunity as the Commissioner of Education to provide quality education to the public school children of Jersey City, and he failed. And yet we, as a board, and if I remember all of the things that were going on, West Hudson was not our first choice. I remember the comments that were made, how the other search group was more in tune with urban education, with dealing with the needs of minority students. I remember that. You taught us that. This board taught us that. I'm not proud that we're in the situation we're in. I have to tell you that the other night, I had a dream. And with all due respect to Dr. King, I actually had a nightmare. And this was my nightmare, and I want to present it to you. With all this going on now, the state's watching. And if we don't give the contract to Dr. Lyle, which I don't think we should, the state's going to turn around and say that this board can't get their act together. And they're going to come in and appoint someone to lead our schools again.
They already did.
Except now, the stakes are much higher. Our last local budget before the state came in was $187 million. This $660 million leaves a lot to be desired, and it's a lot for greedy people who want to connect the dots and come in and take advantage of our budget.